The vet hugged the cat. A minute later, something unexpected happened. We've all heard stories of animal shelters operating in numbers beyond the capacity they can handle. Often the animals that are adopted first are the youngest and cutest. When people are looking to adopt a cat or a dog, they're not looking for an elderly pet that needs a lot of attention. They're looking for an adorable puppy or kitten that can grow with the family and bring them joy for many years to come. People don't want to know about age-related illnesses, vet bills, and many of the problems that older animals bring. Unfortunately, older animals are often the ones who need a home the most. When an older animal is taken to a shelter, it's usually because it's been abandoned. However, the reason for abandonment is not always because of cruelty. It's true that occasionally animals have been abandoned due to their age and high vet bills. However, sometimes owners get too old to care for them or they die, leaving the animals without a home. Sometimes these abandoned animals are taken to a shelter, but sometimes they're left to roam the streets alone. This is one of those stories. No one's quite sure why an elderly tabby cat roamed the streets of New Jersey alone. He didn't seem to be hurt or afraid of humans, but they knew he would likely need extra help finding a home when he was taken to the Voorhees Animal Shelter. The Voorhees Animal Shelter is one of the largest in New Jersey, and they're known for helping animals that often find themselves in impossible situations. They're also known to help older animals, which is why rescuers choose them when they encountered this old tabby cat. The cat was immediately announced on the institution's website. Officials said he deserved a humane and comfortable home to spend his final years in. The team knew that he was unlikely to do well in a home with other cats or young children, which was a difficult task as most families who came in looking for a cat had this profile. Shelter staff immediately fell in love with the adorable cat. They said he was too cute and decided to call him Barnaby. The name means more mature and older. They loved his laid-back attitude and were hopeful they could find him a loving family. During the time Barnaby was there, many families showed up. Visitors looked at the old cat and even said he was adorable and friendly, but the families were looking for a newer pet. They'd always had a reason why they couldn't take Barnaby home. Sometimes it was because they had small children and lived in a very noisy house. Sometimes it was because they didn't know how to take care of an elderly cat, or sometimes it was due to the small children. The days began to pass and Barnaby seemed to be out of luck. He didn't have much time to wait, so the team began to worry. They doubled down on the ads, but deep down they were worried that he might never find his forever home. A family came along that gave him hope. They gave Barnaby a lot of attention and said that in the past they had a senior cat. However, for unknown reasons, they decided not to adopt him, and the team was devastated. When a veterinarian and his wife entered the shelter, staff had no hope that Barnaby would find his forever home. The vet often commented on the stray animals at his clinic and sometimes also offered discounted services, as the animals at the shelter sometimes needed care. But this particular visit was different. The vet had nothing to discuss there. Instead, he and his wife asked to visit the cages. Apparently, they had a cat that had recently passed away, and they were looking to open their home to a new, loving, kind soul. When they saw Barnaby, it looked like a perfect match. He practically had "kind soul" written on the tag of his cage. The veterinarian, whose name was Dr. Sheehan, owner of the Sheehan Vet Center in Camden, New Jersey, fell in love with Barnaby. His wife said he was the most adorable cat he'd ever seen in their years at the clinic. They asked to get Barnaby out of his cage so they could get to know him a little better. Barnaby seemed to understand that these people really could be his forever home, and the cat bowed to them. Dr. Sheehan said it was important for Barnaby to be a kind soul because they were looking for a cat to keep at the clinic. They wanted a calm, gentle cat that could calm disturbed patients, both humans and animals. The vet didn't want to break any animal's heart, but suggested they take Barnaby in for a test. After all, the cat's role in the office would be tricky, and he wanted to make sure Barnaby was a perfect fit. If Barnaby didn't like office life or got too stressed there, they'd return him to the shelter. Barnaby's first day at the office was stressful for everyone. They really wanted it to work out because they knew perfectly well that older cats often didn't get a second chance. Fortunately, it looked like Barnaby was well suited for the role of office cat. He fit right in and was soon placed on the website as the office's official mascot. Barnaby's photo shines front and center in the reception too, and many of the regulars know him very well. Barnaby isn't just an office cat who offers adorable petting to those who walk through the door. His kindness means he's able to fulfill his duties, Dr. Sheehan expected him to perform. He's able to hug distraught animals when they're in pain or stressed, and is able to calm those who are panicked about being in a vet's office. The eerie surroundings and metal bars can be quite scary for some, especially if they've had bad experiences in the past. Barnaby is able to calm down owners who are often flustered when bringing their pets for what could be a daunting procedure. He seems to know exactly who needs relief and often shows up at the door on his own. It's rare for a cat to show up when they're called, and Barnaby is no exception. He doesn't come when he's called, but he always knows when he's needed and is happy to provide his services. Dr. Sheehan always reminds people who are considering adopting a cat that there are many benefits of adopting an adult cat. The first advantage is that their personalities are already developed. He's seen firsthand how kittens change their temperament and personality, and how they can negatively affect a home. He's observed families in love with the adorable kittens they bring in on their first visit, and a few years later people can be irritated when the animal is no longer the playful kitten it was when they adopted it. The vet said he wants people to understand that animals must find a forever home, not a temporary home. Although the doctor doesn't get angry with people when they say they need to abandon their pets, he does everything he can to try to make sure they understand the consequences of this and try to find a solution so that this abandonment doesn't happen. Sometimes this can all be resolved by training the pets or having a second pet attend to the lonely animal. Sometimes it's necessary to discuss with the owners and make them understand why they wanted a pet in the first place, or remind them that animals are part of the family. Sometimes just reminding them that an elderly cat can help is enough, and they become a furry demonstration model that's happy for love and attention. He also reminds people that senior cats are already trained when they enter their home. There will be no frustration with the elderly cat chewing on your sock or stealing a ball of yarn. Older cats are well-behaved treasures who know not to chew or destroy their most valuable things because they learned this in their previous home. They understand that certain things are off-limits and they dare not touch them. The doctor often associates the image of a rainy day in the company of a calm-tempered cat, and no pet owner seems to be able to resist this image. Dr. Sheehan knows that Barnaby's days at the office can be shortened, and he plans to retire his beloved pet as the office kitten when the time comes. However, it seems that Barnaby quite enjoys his new role. Dr. Sheehan is glad Barnaby's around and setting an example for the kittens who come to stay. He even tells the story of a scared kitten that was abandoned on the office step. He said the kitten looked a lot like Barnaby but seemed to have never known human contact. Someone had left the kitten in a cardboard box on the doorstep, and Barnaby knew exactly what to do when the startled kitten screamed pitiful meows across the room. The mature cat appeared at the door and jumped onto the exam table to calm that frightened soul. The vet and staff couldn't get the kitten calmed down enough to do any testing, but Barnaby was able to get that job done for them instantly. In a few hours, they were able to do the tests they needed and put the kitten in a cage. Barnaby even offered to sit in the cage with the scared little kitten for a while. The kitten was adopted almost immediately, but not without the new family thanking Barnaby for his service. Dr. Sheehan thinks Barnaby gets more love as the office cat than he did in his previous home because he seems to absorb it and always sticks to his role. Dr. Sheehan often reminds people of the benefits of senior cats, using Barnaby as an example. The sweet-tempered cat has always followed the right path. Do you know the story of an animal that got a second chance? Please share below. You never know when your inspiring story could become our next video. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.